What Will Be is the movie I'm reviewing today. This movie is on Uchenna Bonabo YouTube channel. The movie is produced by Uchenna Bonabo, executive produced by Clinton Joshua. A recap of this movie talks about a young boy who is very enthusiastic in getting into the national basketball team. His ambition and passion for the game pushed him to be consistent in training. He got a contract, but unfortunately accident happened to him, and of course he lost the contract. How did he get back on his feet again? This is what this movie is about. What I like about this movie, I'll start with the acting. Let's start with Clinton. He executive produced this movie, so you should expect a little more acting from him in terms of emotion display and stuff like that. And one of my favorite scenes in this movie was after the incident and he was crying. That was a very good scene right there. His friend came in helping him and stuff like that. That was really a very good scene. I like that. Then I talk about his best friend, that's Ada. Ada was very fantastic in this movie. The tomboy that she played was a very good role. That was a very good casting with her. She did really well. Coming in to support and discipline Clinton was one of the best scenes in this movie. All the scenes that she was pushing Clinton to the edge or making sure that he gets back on his feet was one of the best scenes in this movie, and those were the scenes that I like so much. Another thing I like about this movie is location. The basketball court was an amazing addition. You saw him play the basketball so many times, and that is to tell you that the character that he's playing as someone who wants to play for national basketball team was really good. So the numerous scenes of him playing basketball and the scenes with all the other players was really nice. I like that. Another thing I like about this movie was the fact that they took us through his healing process. Even though it's a lot, but I appreciate that there was a progress in from him being in a wheelchair, now walking on crutches, still limping till he started walking well. So I just like the progress of all of that. They weren't a jam. They took us through all the physiotherapy that he was going through. That was really nice. I like that. Another thing I like about this movie is makeup. I'm talking about when he got a scar on his forehead. The scar didn't magically disappear from his forehead. The scar was there after he removed the plaster. They did a makeup scar for him on his forehead for a period of time before they stopped the makeup, and that was really nice. So because after the incident he got a plaster, so magically removing the plaster, we needed to see that he had a scar, and that was a thoughtful thing to do. That was nice. The makeup of the scar that was left on his face was really a good addition. I noticed. I like that. And this brings me to another thing that I like about this movie. When he was on the wheelchair, he was able to move himself. Just because you are on a wheelchair or disabled doesn't mean that you can't do things for yourself or by yourself. And that was nice. On the crutches, he was able to move by himself as well. So that is really nice. You know what I mean? Most YouTube movies do not have these simple things that goes on. Then I'm like, yeah. So when I saw it, I noticed, and I'm like, yes, that's really nice. Another thing I like about this movie is how it ended. I was thinking Clinton would date Ada. Well, that did not happen. So I'm like, okay, if it didn't happen, then that's good, because that was my prediction all along. I said, okay, since they are best friends, she helped him did a lot of things, then definitely they are going to date at the end. They are going to profess their love. Well, they did profess their love, but it wasn't in a romantic way. So that was a good thing, because that was not the ending that I was expecting. That was good. Two last things that I like about this movie is cinematography. I'm talking about the outside shot. The lighting was good. No unnecessary color grading for that. In terms of the daylight shoots, I like that. Lest I forget, last thing I like about this movie is the songs that were playing in this movie. That was nice. New song altogether. It goes with the movie, that was good. I don't know if Clinton was trying to advertise for a friend of his who is an artist, or the person who owns the right to all the song is just specific for just this movie, because as the songs will play, they show us the title of the song and the artist on the screen. This is more like an advert and showing off the artist, and that's nice. It gives a different feel and originality to the movie, because this sound will not be used in another movie outside of Uchenna Bonabo or maybe Clinton Joshua's production. So I really appreciate that, and I think I like that as well. And then finally, this is a movie that is in the right frame size. Kudos to Uche Bunabo, or should I say Clinton. I don't know who is in charge of this particular movie in terms of editing and shooting. They did well. The frame size was correct, 16.9, and you could see how each character or each actors in this movie were in their right frame size, which was making the beautification of viewing pleasure very good. So I really like that the movie was posted in the right size. I like that. Those are the things I like about this movie. What I do not like about this movie, I'll start with location in terms of the agent that came in to sign a deal with, Clinton. I was expecting that deal would have been signed in an office where we'll see, an office with a basketball things or a basketball trophies and stuff like that. It would have made this movie a more intentional rather than just the location being in the house. That was not what I was expecting at all. Basically, the location of this movie was just the basketball court, the streets, as well as Joshua's house. That was it. And I'm like, no. That I wasn't feeling it. The basketball court was used because that was the highlight of this movie as a career path. So definitely there should be a basketball court. I said that every other location wasn't really cool. So that was something I didn't like. Another thing I don't like about this movie was the secrets or the information Clinton claimed he wanted to tell Doris in the movie. I'm like, I keep waiting to hear exactly what he has for her, and that did not happen. I'm like, what exactly was it that he wanted? They didn't even let us know. I don't know if maybe I missed it. Guys, if you have watched this movie, did Clinton tell Doris anything? Maybe I might have missed it. Maybe I don't know. Because I was waiting, they didn't show us what he wanted to tell Doris. Is it to be his official girlfriend? Is it to marry her? Like, what was it? Like, or is the relationship over between them? What was it that he wanted to tell? That was something they kept us guessing. They didn't even, they didn't tell us. There was no scene of it. So that's what I'm asking you guys. If you guys watch this movie, did they show us a scene where he actually, tell Doris the secret that he wanted to tell that led him to, into the accident that he got in the movie? Did he? Well, maybe. I don't know. But if he didn't, then that was something that I don't like about this movie. Another thing I don't like about this movie is cinematography. Talking about the house that the movie was shot in. Cinematography in this house, the lighting was bad. Of course, it's Uchenna Bonabo. You expect this particular grading or color scheme from him all the time. So I do not like it. I always complain about it. I do not like it. And if you compare this color scheme to the outside shoot, you see the vast difference in what I'm talking about. So I'm not a fan of the house shoot. That particular cinematography going on there, I really do not like. And this brings me to the point of this movie is very long, too long to be precise, too long. They were dragging the scene that his healing process. Even though I said I enjoyed the process, it is quite a lot, especially before he has to start his physiotherapy. They took a lot of scenes of that, explaining how depressed he is, and like they wasted most of the time. As usual, this movie was even directed by Was. It's not even directed by Ben Cassie, so I'm wondering why this movie is super long like this. So I don't like about this movie is costume from Clinton's side. Aside his balling jersey that he puts on, every other costume aside, what he wore in the basketball court was something I wasn't a fan of. Then also another scene that I don't like was Ada and the two boys when they were trying to prevent her from entering the house. That scene was super long. Like, she was dragging the boys, she was practically fighting the boys just because they didn't want her to go into the house and, you know, disturb Clinton or Clinton's mom. That scene, I was like, is it a fight? Like, no, I mean, I wasn't a fan of that scene. It might look okay and good, but I did not like that scene. Finally, there was something off about this movie. It didn't have that source of a movie. I know it's YouTube, you know, no effort whatsoever, no passion from the actors. The passion was only from Ada. Ada was the only one that was giving energy in this movie. Even Clinton, I wasn't feeling what he was doing, aside when he had the accident and he was a little depressed. Those scenes were a little intense. Aside that, this movie just lacked a little sauce that would give you the edge to watch. You won't remember this movie for anything. Maybe you say, oh, that movie, Clinton was a basketball player, or he was like, you can't stand on this movie and say, yeah, this is intense. This movie doesn't really hold water. I don't know, man. It just lacks something. And on that note, I'll give this movie 3/10. If you haven't watched What Will Be, do well to watch. It's showing on Uchenna Bonabo TV. I'll see you all in the next movie review.